Hello and welcome to CMST 340 Critical Perspectives on Social Media Use. And I know that no matter what time of day it is right now that you're checking out this video, it could be morning, noon, or night, that already before you've looked at this video, you've already been probably all over social media. You've probably been checking out your social media platforms. The average person has at least two. I'm sure that probably you're on Twitter, Snapchat, or Instagram. Maybe some old schoolers there are on Facebook. Maybe some are on Tumblr, Google+. The rest of them are out there are rather esoteric, Pinterest and LinkedIn and all the rest of them. But you've been all over your social media, right? That's the way that we live today. And that's the way we're going to live for the next 3 weeks in this class, except instead of doing social media like it's part of our regular, average, everyday lives, we're going to be studying social media in the context of a class, in the context of a 300 level class, a 300 level writing oriented class, Critical Perspectives on Social Media. Welcome to it. My name is Rob McKenzie. I'm the professor for the class. I'm also the chairperson in the Department of Communication. And I actually wrote this course 6 years ago. I got it started. I realized, along with my colleagues' support, that we really needed to be, as a Department of Communication, on the front edge of studying social media. It's the main way that people are communicating today, so we got to have a course in that. That's why I designed this course. So let's take a look at it. That's what the rest of this video is going to be. It's going to be taking a look at the syllabus. If you want to take a moment to pause this and get it handy so that we can look at it together, it's on D2L under the Content tab, and we'll start at the top there. CMST 340, Critical Perspectives on Social Media Use. Each and every word in that title is important. This is not a how-to course, not how to do social media, although certainly you'll learn techniques. This is critically analyzing what all this communicating that we're doing is actually having. We're analyzing that in terms of its impact on our lives. So we're looking at critical perspectives on our use of social media. As far as the course description goes, the official course description, you're going to study a variety of critical perspectives. That's what we do in academia. We look at critical perspectives, mostly in the book, which I'll introduce in a moment, to analyze and interpret how social media use affects human thought, behavior, and feelings, especially feelings in the social media world. Feelings have exploded into our conscience in terms of being aware of the impact on feelings with social media content. All right, D2L, let's move on with the syllabus now. D2L, most of you know it. I don't even have to introduce it. That's your knowledge of social media platforms within the academic world. You know about D2L. You probably know about some other ones out there like Blackboard. So ours is D2L, or Desire to Learn. It's made by a Canadian company. And all of our courses are going to be administered on D2L. Now, there are some departmental outcomes that are listed next on the syllabus. I'll let you read those on your own. Basically, those are for anybody taking any class in the Department of Communication. We want you to have those outcomes, no matter what the class is, including this one. Next up is course outcomes. I'll let you read those over in detail, too. They're very, very specific. I do want to highlight just a couple of them. And one is that we're going to have you analyzing and interpreting most of the way through this course. So you see 3 or 4 of these course outcomes are analyze, interpret, analyze, and interpret. And you'll start to see that among the things that we're going to study is the lexicon of social media abbreviations. The lexicon of the language or the grammar or the rules, all similar ways of talking about social media use. WTF, LFMAO, GTG, and the old standby, LOL. Those are not really languages or words. Those are synthetic symbols, right? We're taking the first letter of a word, mashing it together, coming up with an acronym, and now it's a new kind of language for us. Yeah, how interesting is that? We're inventing languages in social media just like any mass medium invents languages. We're going to analyze and interpret the meaning of that. So I'd like you to read those over on your own for the rest of them. Now we'll move on to use of the term social media. Social media is a generic phrase that we're using in this class. It refers to any websites or apps on cell phones or computers used to connect users to each other. And I guess I have to throw in watches now too. Yeah, it's just getting people together, through these devices in the virtual world. That's what social media are doing. And we're going to use the term post and posting generically. You'll tweet on Twitter, but we're going to call it a post, because really we're referring to just putting your information out there on social media. So post or posting is a generic term that we're going to be using in this class. Now, very important line at the bottom of this syllabus. Very important. Mucho importante. as the Mexicans would say, no late work will be accepted in this class, and all work must be submitted on D2L. I have 2 classes that I'm teaching right now, both online. I have 70 students. There is no way I'm going to accept an email of a late assignment. Dr. McKenzie, I missed the closing date on this assignment. Can I send it to you in an email? No. Here's what happens. That email goes here, and because of the volume of the email that I receive, also by virtue of being department chair, it's like dropping a rock in the ocean. It sinks down. I got to remember it's there. I got to go back and find it. And above all else, the students who are staying on top of things and getting their stuff in on time, despite their life circumstances, sickness, death in the family, etc., I got to be fair to them. So no late work, no work submitted outside of D2L. It's either done on time or it's not done at all. And that means that you got to have your technology in order, right? If you're susceptible to internet outages, what's your plan B? You're going to be able to submit your assignments on your phone? That's up to you to decide, but no excuses in this technology-driven class, short of power outages and things that are beyond your control. All right, attendance-wise in this class, I've designed it to be flexible to your working and or other schedules this summer. So basically, the class operates on a 24-hour cycle. It starts at 1 o'clock on the day of class, and all of your assignments are due 1 o'clock the next day. You have 24 hours. So if you're a night person, you can do this class. A morning person, if you have a job, you can find time in there to complete the assignments 1 o'clock to 1 o'clock the next day. The biggest complaint that I hear about students who take online classes about what makes them challenging is not actually the course material. The biggest complaint I hear is they forget when stuff is due. So if I were you, I would put all the dates in your calendar in your phone. I would go to D2L. I would turn on notifications so that the deadlines all get pushed to your phone, to your email, and you're just on top of when your stuff is due for the class. All right, let's get on to the course requirements now. Let's start with the first book. There's 2 books for the class. You got to have them. I sent out an email 2 weeks ago to class saying, got to have this book the first day of class. In a 3-week class, you can't be ordering a book that's going to arrive 5 days from now, 1/3 of the way through the class. You got to be ready to go. It's a 300 level class, so hopefully you have this book and you can get it today from a friend. If you don't have it, or somebody else, you got to have it. So this is Social Media, A Critical Introduction. It's the 2nd edition. It's by Christian Fuchs. It's my first time through the book as well. Comes highly recommended. I've been through it on a skimming basis, and I've read some of a couple of the chapters in depth, and I'm looking forward to teaching out of that book. We're going to be using that mainly as our theoretical basis. It's going to provide the framework that we're going to use to analyze some of the content that we're going to be playing around with in social media. It's going to provide the academic framework, that book. And then the second book that we're going to be working out of is my book. It's called Rounding Some Corners. It was a collection of newspaper columns. I hate to use that word newspaper. There really aren't newspaper columns. I just used a newspaper, the Pocono Record, to publish the columns. The columns, each one of them is only 2 pages long. Each column makes an oddball observation of an irony in life. An oddball observation of an irony in life. The columns are supposed to be funny, most of them, not all of them. Some are deadly serious, but most of them are supposed to be funny. So I hope you do find yourself laughing in some cases. And almost all of the columns have a double meaning. The last line usually is where you find that. There's 2 meanings to it. So pause when you get to the end of that. Go over it in your mind. One of them is supposed to be funny, or the 2 of them together usually supposed to be funny, but at the same time pointing out an irony about the way that humans live. Many of the columns, because my background is in communication and specifically from broadcasting, are about media. So we're going to use the columns in this class as a way to generate discussion and analysis, and I'll explain that in a couple moments. Next, let's go on to social media terms, social media platform teams, I should say, not terms. So social media platform teams are teams that each student is going to be on. There's going to be a maximum of 5 students on a social media platform team. And you're going to be working on a social media platform in 2 contexts in this class. One context is where you will be working on a team. And you're going to sign up for a team starting today at 1 o'clock. There are 6 teams, no more than 5 people per team. If you see 5 people on the list on D2L under the where is that? It's under the discussions link under the communications tab. That's where you'll sign up for the one and only social media platform that you're going to work with this semester. If you see more than 5 names, don't put your name on there. Each team will have 5 names on it, and that team will conduct what is known as a project viral at the end of the semester. It's a graded assignment where you're going to launch content on that social media platform and try and get it to go viral. Now, you'll notice that 2 of those platforms on there are more on the esoteric side. I'm just asking if you're a student in this class and you have experience with one of these 2, Google Plus or Tumblr, I'm going to ask you to sign up for it right away. Don't go for Twitter if that's easier. I really want those 2 platforms to have people who are experienced. Google Plus, if somebody has experience with that, please sign up for that. And the second one would be Tumblr. The others on there, are the big ones: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Okay, so that's the one context. The second context that you'll be working with a social media platform is all semester long, your RSC posts. RSC is short for rounding some corners. You're going to be making posts on 2 columns. You're going to be making posts on a social media platform that you sign up for. And then the responses to those posts are going to be analyzed. So more about that in a second, but for right now, that's the second reason to keep in mind when you sign up for your social media platform. Keep that in mind. You're going to be working with that platform all semester long in this class. It's going to be Twitter the whole way through for you, or Snapchat, or whatever it is that you use. All right, continuing on with the syllabus now, we've got the RSC posts, which I just mentioned. Students are required to make 2 RSC posts, rounding some corners, 2 column posts, each day of class on your designated social media platform. You're going to make a post, and that post is going to take an idea in the column. It's going to briefly summarize it, and then you're going to jump off it with your own ideas. You'll see what I mean once you start reading the columns. It's very easy for you to have your own ideas. So you'll jump off that, try and make most of the post your ideas, but of course you're extending off the original ideas and rounding some corners. And then you're going to end your post with something that's trying to get a response from your followers, from your friends. Now, maybe the whole post is going to do that. You're trying to be outrageous or dramatic. You're trying to get a response. But think about, this is part of what you're learning in this class already. How do you encourage engagement and interactivity on social media? And the best way is to either A, ask a question at the end, where you get the person to be curious and they want to answer, and that's why they respond. Or B, what you do is you provoke them. I bet nobody else out there thinks like I do. Oh, hold on. I want to tell you that I want to like this. I want to share it. I want to say that I do. That's the way that you should be envisioning your strategy as you go forward and try and get responses. Now, first couple times when you post your RSC post, you may not get responses right away, and I'm going to work with you on that, but that's the goal. Now let's move to discussion responses. That's the next assignment in this class. What happens from when you post your RSC post? Next is the discussion response. So starting tomorrow at 1 o'clock, after you've posted your RSC post today at 1 o'clock, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, now we're going to start getting into discussion responses, which you'll have every day. And discussion responses where you take the reading for the day, you take the chapter reading for the today, so it's going to be tomorrow's chapter reading, chapter 2, and you're going to use the concepts in that chapter to speculate why you received the responses to your RSC post from your friends and followers that you did. You're going to use the academic material in the book to explain theoretically why you're getting the responses you did. That's how we're learning to apply the framework, the perspectives in this book, and to understand social media from an analytical point of view. That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing that in a discussion post. It's going to be 190 to 110 words, to 210 words. They're basically 200 words with 10-word window on each side. No more, no less. Use your Microsoft Word or whatever processing software to count your words. And also write those like you're a bona fide junior college student or senior. Don't be writing in cell phone text style. No small i's. No missing periods throughout several sentences. Write like a student who knows how to write. Okay? All right, next up is the next assignment. That's going to be discussion replies. And now here what we have is the next phase that kicks in from the RSC post. You got the RSC post, you got the responses to the RSC post from your friends and followers, then you've got your response to their responses, which gets graded, and then now you have discussion replies, not responses, replies. It might take a while to sort all these terms out. Once we get into the class, you'll get into a routine, but a reply is the same thing in terms of word count. It's 190 to 210 words, and now what you're doing is you're analyzing another student's discussion response, and you're counter-arguing it against it using the reading material. This is the way that I'm going to know that you're reading the book. This is the way that I'm going to know that you're understanding the material in an online class where I can't see you face-to-face and give you quizzes. I could give you quizzes, but I'm not going to. Your discussion responses and your discussion replies are the place where you have to show me that you're reading the material, you're understanding the material, and you're applying the material. So think about that every time. That means you should be quoting passages. You should be giving page numbers in your discussion responses and replies. All right, next up on this syllabus here, we have Project Viral. I've already mentioned that. I'm not going to say much about it now because I'm going to assign it later in the course. You're going to be given a campaign, a set of parameters for a campaign where you're going to launch a campaign and try and push out content on your social media platform along with your group members and try and make it go kaboom, viral. Try and make it go out there into the big world. See how far it can get, how many people you have. And then there's going to be a paper that's associated with that Project Viral, analyzing Project Viral. Project Viral itself will be a group project. The analysis paper will be an individual assignment. And here's how the grades break down. We've got 30 points for discussion responses. You get to drop some of those questions. You've got 30 points for discussion replies. You get to drop some of those. You get 20 points is for the Project Viral, and then you get 20 points is for the analysis paper on Project Viral. Altogether, that comes to 100 points total for the course. I've got my grading scale for you there as well, A, B, C, D, and E, and what qualifies number-wise your total score for those grades. I've got a statement also finishing things out now on accessibility services for students. If you have individualized needs, please let me know, and those have to be certified by the Office of OASIS here on campus. I have a plagiarism policy. Hopefully I don't need to be saying anything about that at your stage, but plagiarism is do not steal other people's thinking. That's what it is, copying other people's work and presenting it as your own. I'm looking out for that all the time. It's so easy on the web. You got to be taking other people's ideas and regenerating it in terms of your own thought processes. No more than a couple phrases of somebody else's before you should start changing it into your own words. And finally, on the syllabus, we have a Title IX statement. Title IX statement is basically saying that you have a right to feel safe from harassment of any way, shape, or form in this class. And if you do feel those things going on, there is a procedure and a protocol for addressing those. So you can check that out on the syllabus. Turning the page, the last page of the syllabus is the tentative schedule of events. Walks you through there day by day. As I said, this is a new book. I may make some changes as we go through there, but for today, you can see our very first day. You do have quite a few things to accomplish by tomorrow. I've sent those out to you in an email as well. Basically, those involve signing up for a social media platform beginning at 1 o'clock today. It involves also recording your own introduction to the class. It involves also commenting or asking a question on my curriculum vitae, doing that under the discussions link under the communications tab. And it involves making your first 2 RSC posts on your social media platform that you've signed up for today. So that's about it to introduce the course. Welcome to Critical Perspectives on Social Media Use. I look forward to the ride we're going to have together.